Hello, I'm Marc, host of the Channel Chat podcast show, and this is a special series during this COVID crisis where we'll be sharing the learnings, best practices, and failures and successes of all the channel leaders throughout the tech industry. So sit back, listen, and enjoy. Today, I was lucky to have Ben Jackson from Titan Data Solutions in the studio. It was great to hear how he'd moved into his new offices, but now they're working from home and how they've adapted to that. So sit back, listen, and enjoy. How have you found it from being obviously a company that in its first year did really well and got the award and all that sort of stuff, then to signing those offices and then obviously now not get a chance to use them? How are you finding it?
Well, I mean, our office, they have not asked us to work from home. We took that decision, I think the Wednesday before the Friday where the government started to ask it. And of course, you know, people have to get a Jubilee line or even a bus to get into the office. And we just felt, you know, we were already cloud-based anyway. And we just thought we're going to allow everybody to work from home. It's just the right thing to do for all the staff. So, yeah, the timing of us, you know, moving into the wharf, announcing it and stuff, and then deciding to work from home before we were made to work from home is pretty frustrating.
Yeah.
But at the same token, you know, it's still great. I mean, I'm really looking forward to getting back in there and stuff. But the work the guys are doing at the moment remotely is fantastic. I mean, you know, it took us a lot of time to build up to making that move, of course, financially, but also the timing of it was really, really important. You know, training the staff correctly and getting them to understand our technical USPs and so on and so forth. So when we moved, it was fantastic because the business went through the roof, but it was March, it was end of quarter, end of financial year. I don't doubt some of the buying and the orders we got were coronavirus orientated perhaps, but it just felt good. And there was a lot of pipeline that came in for the end of the month as well. So to have finished on that high, even remotely, was still fantastic. But it was just really sad not to be in the pub on the last day of the month with the gang, like celebrating. You know, Everyone had a really good number, everyone made profit, everyone had a decent commission. So that was quite tough. And I live in Greenwich, so I take the dog out for a walk, or my wife and kid, and you can see Canary Wharf, and it's just there. And knowing that it's now a ghost town, it's very, very surreal. It's really, really, really surreal. So yeah. Wasn't the best timing, but
no. How have you found it? So were all your guys had VDI solutions already? Were you already sort of aimed to work from home, so it was sort of seamless?
It was seamless completely, yeah. So we got a cloud CRM system, and all of our landlines are PoE, so they just divert to our mobiles. So it was a seamless transition, which is luck more than judgment. You know, when Steve and I decided what CRM package to choose in, 2018, we had no idea what we should do, but the one we got was pretty cheap. So it's worked perfectly, but at the moment we're migrating to Oracle and we plan to go live on NetSuite by June time. But of course that's a lot of work, but again, it can all be done remotely. So that is a blessing, absolute blessing.
And how have you found it in terms of like getting stock in the market and supply? Obviously for hardware, obviously software, obviously slightly easier, but how have you found it in terms of actually getting hold of kit and storage and stuff?
Okay, so there's two strands to our business on the data storage side, and a huge part of that is more like a consumable. It's data tapes, data cartridges, and we sell tens of thousands of them a month. Now, we do quarterly forecasts to our suppliers. I think they've done lots of provisioning for potential issues in the immediate future, April, May, possibly June. So we are fully stocked as of today, and I believe they are as well. So far, so good on the media side. Of course, the hardware side, there is various SMB SKUs, NAS, tape devices, super loaders, which we hold in stock for next day delivery, and we've got loads of that in stock as well. I know certain Taiwanese vendors now will be struggling and having to sea freight products rather than air freight, but I think we place some pretty lumpy stocking deals. I mean, nowhere near as big as some of our competitors, mind you, but you're talking about CMS and Exertis, so they can go a lot deeper than we can. But I think we'll be okay for the next couple of months, and we'll just have to wait and see. We work super transparently with the vendors, give them our forecasts, and obviously we hope that they are provisioning themselves in the background. So I think what you're maybe talking about is the higher end stuff, primary storage, but generally those installations are on a sort of 3-month closing cycle. So anything that we're proposing now, I don't think we'd anticipate to come in until sort of July time, and maybe the IT directors out there will end up pushing that back a month or two. We'll have to wait and see. So we're okay at the moment.
Okay. Do you have any challenges around? You mentioned about couriers and sort of next day delivery, etc. Is that a challenge at the moment? Getting kit get delivered next day to people?
Yeah. So we use DPD. We always have, and they're fantastic. The only issues we had is where we're doing a lot of business into data centers. I mean, our warehouse is down the A13, 8 miles east of Canary Wharf. We are surrounded by data centers. So we do a lot of deliveries to those locations, generally on behalf of our resellers. A lot of those deliveries now are going to the backup guy's house or the backup lady's house. They take the delivery of the tapes, and then when they go into the data center, then they're still doing their backups. So really, about 30-40% of our business at the moment is throughout EMEA. Some of those deliveries now are struggling if we're shipping into Madrid, and sometimes the freight forwarder is taking a view before they actually reach the destination. DPD's daily updates say they're still delivering, but we've had a couple of returns, but then we've rang the reseller, we've then directed it to their home address, and then it's getting there okay. But that's only at the moment, and obviously those deaths in Spain, bless them, are going up massively every day. So as countries shut borders to freight, that's obviously going to pose any distributor an issue, not just ourselves.
Okay, Ben, so what's your opinion, Ben, on communication styles for companies now adopting working from home, i.e. everyone first would love to meet face to face. That's the best form of interaction you can have with a customer. It's then been video, it's then been telephone, it's then been email. Now, most people, when we're in the office, will always default to email, even though it's the worst form of communication. It's just the easiest thing to do. Now, funny enough, I am defaulting to the second best communication, which is video, like I'm doing with you now. But I would never really do that in the office. I'd either just email you. I've emailed you and Steve, or I might do a text or a quick call. Why do you think now people are suddenly thinking, actually, instead of just emailing, they're actually trying to get more video and more interaction? Is it because we're forced to, or do you think it's just naturally they're thinking that's the thing to do now because it's work from home and it's a new concept?
Well, obviously we're forced to do that now, but I find myself at home and we're having conversations over Skype or Microsoft Teams throughout the day visually, because I just feel it's more appropriate today. But obviously you can't forget that we came from a distributor where there was a lot of, passive communication via Skype or email. And we've done everything at Titan from day one to train people on proper communication proactively over the phone and, of course, face to face as well. So I don't see that our new world as of today, the next few months, I don't see that impacting us negatively. I still think the guys will be super proactive and comfortable, whether it's video, phone or handset.
In terms of what you're seeing from the reseller community at the moment, do you see them they're changing their communication style with you? Are they just frantically ringing up for kit and orders, or is it, or they trying to get out on video because obviously they can't come and see you now, or you can't go and see them? Like, I don't see Steve doing floor walks at Insight or wherever he was supposed to be doing before. So how has the communication style changed?
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, nothing's changed. I mean, yes, I'm sort of running the backbone of the company, but I'm also doing a lot of selling myself. And like every distributor, probably, we had a huge push towards the end of March. And I don't doubt that, some of that was virus related for sure. I feel now, I mean, you and me are having this chat now. We've known each other since CRN, but it's taken this long to have this call. I think now is a great time for people to be communicating with each other, because there's a lot of people thinking maybe more introspectively today post-virus than they were only 2.5 weeks ago, so I don't doubt Steve, maybe he's not gliding around the Insight sales floor like a swan, but he'll be working super hard from home right now, rallying guys and speaking to as many customers as he can. And I think a lot of VARs out there want to carry on talking, carry on finding as many deals as they possibly can, just to keep us all strong the next quarter.
My last question for you before we just have a chit chat anyway, in terms of your view of the market, do you think we will go back to complete normality how we worked before, or do you think this is now the new way of working?
personally think the world has changed forever, because this is going to take many, many, many months for the world, as an entity to recover, forgetting the financial impacts and social, personal ones. I was always extremely open to remote workers. So for me, there isn't really a change in culture when we finally get back into the office. If anything, we'll probably be more open-minded about it. I mean, the trick for me isn't necessarily about remote workers. It's about getting the right people in the right roles, so you don't have to micromanage them, and consequently you don't need to worry about what it is they're actually doing between 9 and 5:30. They're just grafting because they're happy and they're motivated and they know what they've got to do. Steve will write out the sales and marketing plan a month in advance. It's then shared a week in advance. It's then discussed daily. There's checks and balances, but not for micromanagement, to actually help support, get feedback. So I don't see it changing for Titan, but I do see a world where there's probably a lot of business leaders out there who've always struggled with remote management, and I think they are going to have to make some strong changes quite quickly to benefit as we all come back as a nation and a globe to our normal 9 to 5 working conditions. Only time's going to tell with that one.
Thanks for joining us and listening to another episode of our Channel Chat podcast. If you've enjoyed what you've heard and are listening on iTunes, please could you give us a review and subscribe in order to get the newest episodes as soon as they're released. Otherwise, as always, we release an episode every Thursday at midday, so hopefully you can join us then.